Hi, welcome to another edition of Cambridge Inside Out. My name's Robert Winters.
My name is Susana Segat. Welcome.
I'm Rozann Kraus, and I'm in the middle of them.
Right, something has come between.
I'm sorry.
That's quite all right.
Welcome, Rozann.
Thank you
for coming. Before we talk to you, though, we have some news.
Uh-oh.
No, nothing new.
Hot,
Just
hot,
good
off,
news.
hot off the press
Well,
news.
it's July 1.
That's
It's the
right.
beginning of the fiscal year
New
for all
fiscal
you
year.
municipal officials.
That's right.
Anything else?
It's also the beginning of internships in hospitals. Do not go to the ERs.
Really?
If you can possibly avoid. Yeah, all rotations start, so all the people who just graduated from medical school just became interns today. First day
Really?
in the ER. Yeah, so stay safe.
Yeah. So
Stay healthy. Stay safe.
If you want to live dangerously.
So just an update on the budget.
Okay, budget time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So last we left it,
This would be the state budget.
the state budget, because the city budget passed
ages
smoothly ages
Yeah.
ago.
All right.
So last we left it, the House had a budget, the Senate had a budget. They needed to reconcile it, so they had a conference committee meet. The conference committee met, presented it to the House and Senate, and Monday they passed a $36.5 billion
Billion.
With a B?
Billion.
$36.5 billion budget,
Wow.
which is very good.
It's a lot of zeros.
So now it goes to the governor.
All right.
And the governor has 10 days to look at it. He signs it, or he can veto different sections and
You
send
can
it back.
Change that B to an M.
He can do that, but he would not be popular if he did
No,
that.
you would not.
He doesn't have to run again anyway.
So in the meantime, the governor,
Sorry, folks, we had some technical difficulties. We'll have to restart you.
okay,
Okay.
good.
All right.
Oh God! I did.
That's the first time that ever
I
happened.
did a dance like this
Really?
once. We have to
Okay.
improvise exactly what
We'll
we did
just-
before.
Well, hopefully we'll do it better.
Ready? Okay. All right. Let's try this again. Hi. This is welcome to another exciting edition of Cambridge Inside Out. I'm Robert Winters.
I'm Susana Segat, and we have here our guest.
In the middle, Rozann Kraus.
Welcome, Rozann.
Thank you. It's so nice to be between the two of you.
We're happy to have you.
Now I hear tell. Now how do I seem to have some notion that there's some news from the State House.
Yes, it's July 1, which means it's a new fiscal year.
Happy New Year.
Happy fiscal
Happy
year.
fiscal year. Can I make an important announcement about emergency rooms right now?
Please.
July 1st is when people who just graduated from medical school start their internships, which means when you walk into the ER, that person is one day out of medical school with not a lot of experience. Be safe, be healthy. See your primary care physician. Try to stay away from emergency rooms, at least for a month.
And drink plenty of fluids. And now, Susana.
Okay. Yes. Also, if you do go, know that there are residents and other physicians there watching
Who
the interns.
may know what they're doing.
Who definitely know what they're doing.
Hovering.
Hovering.
So the House, where last, we need to start this again.
No, we're good.
3 times the charm.
So the state budget,
The state budget.
the last we left it, the House passed a budget, the Senate passed a budget. They didn't coincide, so they've got a conference committee to reconcile them. And on Monday, the House and Senate voted on this reconciled budget. Guess how much it was for?
Oh, billions and billions. I'm going to put on my
$6
desk.
trillion.
We need Carl Sagan to say it with drama.
$36.5 billion.
Billion.
Okay, all right.
So, in the meantime, so now what happens to it?
It goes to the governor.
It goes to the governor. He has 10
Hi,
days.
governor.
10
Yeah,
days.
Yeah.
When he's in town to look at it, to figure out, does he sign it? Does he veto some sections and send it back? Or whatever.
Right.
And in the meantime, it's July 1, so there's no money. So the governor passed
Stay healthy and don't spend any money.
He passed an interim budget for July.
Okay.
For how much?
Few billion.
4.6 billion.
I was going to say $4.22.
Very good.
That's good.
Close.
So anyway, so we'll see what happens. There's one really interesting line item on the budget. You want to hear what it is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we now have the ability to get vineyards from around the country to apply for a wine shipper license.
Wow, what a relief.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means that now, if you want a vineyard to send you a case of wine directly to your home, they can.
Really?
Right now, if you want someone to ship wine to Massachusetts, they have to send it to the liquor store and you have to pick it up. So now we have direct shipment, unless the governor vetoes it.
So now my read of this is that those creepy people who wait till the UPS truck to leave so they can go up on your porch and steal the packages, they're going to be a
How do you know about
different
that?
class of characters now. A little taste for the vino.
That's right. They'll let it aerate a little bit before they decide
Here's
to
the
take it.
interesting thing. You can have direct shipment of wine to your home from out-of-state vineyards up to 12 cases of up to 9 liters in a case. So who's going to regulate that? Who's going to make sure that you do not get 13 cases?
Somebody from Mexico will regulate that.
I think the answer is nobody.
We'll see.
We'll see. That's the correct answer. We'll see.
So anyway, that's the interesting
All right.
tidbit of the day. Do you have any interest? Oh, the city council meeting last night.
Well,
Did you watch it?
I'll
Did
give-
you go?
I can give you
No,
the,
I stayed as far away as I could.
There was some brouhaha.
It was a brouhaha that barely got past the first brew and never
Ha.
made it to the ha-ha. Yeah. There was an ill-fated zoning petition co-signed by 2 city councilors, actually, that would, for those of you who like all these micro information, we'd transfer the special permit granting authority from the zoning board, no, the planning board to the city council for the next 2.5 years. It has, honestly, probably about 2 votes in favor and 7 against. But, there were a lot of people came up for public comment on both sides of the issue. It got, as they say in the legislative world, it's been sent to committee. It's been
Which is down there
referred
somewhere.
to the planning board and the ordinance committee for hearing and a report, and then we'll see what happens. But the timing of it was such that it was done at the very last meeting before the summer break. So the next time it'll be discussed will be the end of July 28th, which is the next city council meeting, the midsummer special meeting. And unless it gets sort of totally flushed down the toilet, then it'll make it into September before dying a miserable death, which means 2.5 months of political organizing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
And fundraising, I'm sure. So actually, there's another thing that's kind of city council related, I'll say here, because as we speak now, isn't there some sort of soccer game going on somewhere?
Everyone is lined up outside of the bars watching, and I wanted to yell out,
In their
"What's
colors?"
the score?"
And
I don't know what the
actually,
score
down
is.
in
The U.S.
Boston,
is playing Belgium.
Belgium.
in
right now.
No
those
jokes.
Dirty, no one. No, we were joking it earlier because the
Belgian jokes.
the Belgians are sort of a neutral ethnicity. So whenever you want to sort of make ethnic jokes, you just make them about Belgians, and this way nobody gets
I
offended.
wonder what happened.
Well, it's happening now. It started, I think, at 4:00, and there's
Right,
like,
so it should be
I
done.
saw a shot of the Boston. No, it's barely. It'll continue for a while. But I saw people pouring out of the various taverns in Central Square,
So
and there was
cool.
like a 10,000 people down at Boston City Hall Plaza. This place was packed.
Robert, didn't
baking
you
in the
promise
sun.
us a big TV out there where we can watch it?
That was the other thing.
That's why the window is broken here. He was trying to get it in and didn't realize that was a window.
Anyone who watches this show or has followed my my illustrious career as a quasi-journalist knows I'm usually pretty upbeat and supportive of most of the work that the city officials do. All right, well look, now here's the exception. So they passed the city council order saying we're going to put up wonderful screens around Lafayette Square and Central Square.
Look at this, Robert.
And, and
Oh
by
my
the way,
gosh, we're winning.
We're
tied.
tied. No,
Yeah,
that's not
but
good.
whenever you're tied,
Not in
you
this
give
time.
yourself the benefit
we're
of the
fit to be
This is a bad
tied.
thing.
Okay.
The United States and Belgium.
For those of you not watching,
we're deadlocked at 0-0.
very exciting.
But the 0 for the United States is a little bit larger.
I consider the fact that we're not ahead 5-0 right now a moral defeat. But anyway, the city council passed this order, and
is very exciting.
the city administration said we were going to have public screens and around Lafayette Square, down around the firehouse end of Central Square, where the public would gather to watch that. No screens.
Yeah, we're up to that.
They
Why
had
not?
them. No, they had them up at Everybody Went Downtown because the screens were really big. there.
I think they farmed this job out to maybe somebody to whom it should not be farmed again in the future.
You promised us, Robert.
I don't shoot the messenger. I mean, I was simply communicating what the city had said, and I'm a little disappointed. But look, next time,
The bars are happy.
if you want to know which
Yeah.
people work for this city should be in charge, I'll tell you who it should be. Okay, just
Give them the phone number to
and
call.
I'll tell you. I
Right.
know who could get things done, But it didn't get done. Now, the promise was that it would begin June 28th and it would continue to July 13th, I think. And it could still happen. But, honestly, the opening day for Lafayette Square Soccer has come and gone. And we ain't got nothing.
Nothing.
So, but the bars are having a great time.
Yeah.
The Phoenix and Tavern in the Square. People are pouring into the streets.
Well, they're on the sidewalk.
They're on the
looking
sidewalks.
down.
I will never
There's no room
understand why
inside
people
it.
can be so excited about a 0-0 game, but hey, that's me. I'm a baseball guy, So, anyway, so that's. All
right, one more bit of news.
And then yes,
So, speaking of the planning board,
yes.
the city manager is looking for new members of the planning board.
Yes,
So
they are.
if this conversation was of any interest to you at all, and you have about the planning board, and you have
Great minds think alike. I say here, members sought for planning board. Yes.
right. So Robert will read to you what the planning board is, and I'm going to tell you the deadline for filing it is August 1st. So
I can do an interpretive dance while you read.
would you?
There we go. All right. So Mr. Rossi is requesting applications to serve on the planning board. The planning board is the special permit granting authority for the city and is responsible for the review of special permit requests, the review and development of zoning proposal, and the study of land use throughout the city. They have 7 members and 2 alternates. There's actually 1 vacancy amongst the regulars, and that's it. It is expected, I think, I'm just jumping to some conclusions, that some of the current members will reapply and be reappointed. I wouldn't be surprised.
Why, they're all open?
No, I think there are several whose terms have
You're staggered.
expired. But one thing that people need to understand is that in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, this is a state where
Until you're replaced.
that's right. If a term expires, you continue to serve until such time as a replacement is named.
Or you leave in disgust.
Or you leave in disgust, or with your hair on fire.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly, right? So the call is that the meeting, they typically meet twice per month on every other Tuesday evening.
So they would miss our show.
No, actually, because they start meeting at 7 or so.
Oh, so
we're
it
done.
works. You
Yeah.
can
So
do both.
both of you can be on the planning committee then. Oh my gosh!
That's actually, let me tell you, just speaking off the cuff here. Wait, where's my cuff?
You didn't have a cup.
Is that this is actually a pretty tough situation for the city manager, because almost any qualified person that he could point, somebody's going to say if the fix is in, that's horrible. You're just appointing people from this side or that side.
Sounds like politics.
And we all believe that.
Well, I don't believe it, but I think it's kind of from a political point of view, it's a nasty situation to be thrust into if you are the appointing authority, which is who the city manager is,
Yeah.
the appointing authority. I mean, there are some pretty good people out there, I think. And actually, and let me just say, without any equivocation, the sitting members of the planning board are very qualified people, and they're pretty good. So it's really just a matter of getting other qualified people to add to it. And so I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to get at least one guaranteed new appointment. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe one of the alternates became a full member, because there are 7 full members, 7
And two
full members and
alternates.
2 alternates. That's right. So you might see one of the alternates become a full member, which wouldn't shock anybody. And then probably maybe somebody leave, maybe you get a couple new appointees. I think the deadline for think of people with
August 1st.
specific expertise in such
That was
areas
my
as
job.
architecture, urban design, urban planning, and zoning are encouraged to apply, as one might expect for a planning board. And they want applications due by mail or fax by Friday, August 1st. So you got a little time to think about it, but
Do it.
get on the case,
And complete
So-
disclosure, they get paid billions of dollars
They get
to
paid
serve on this
an
planning
annual
committee.
salary of $0 and 0 cents. So it's a purely voluntary position. But if you really care about the city, I think you should really, really
It's an
strongly
important-
consider
it's an
doing
important-
it. It's perhaps well, depending on a point of view, it may well be the most important of the city's appointed boards.
Yeah.
Certainly, many people feel that way. All right,
So that could have used an interpretive dance.
that could have used interpretive hands.
I'm working on it.
Right. Oh, and I'll take another update. Don't worry, we'll get to the other things here, Roseanne.
I want to see what the score is.
The other,
we're talking about.
right, Susanna.
Automatically
Susanna will be
update.
giving updates here on the soccer game.
I don't know how to
Latest sports news here on Be Live,
If you
right
want,
here in
listen, if
Cambridge.
you want updates, just open the window and listen. Honestly,
It's broken. You just have to take the plastic
You'll
off.
be fine.
Zero.
Just bust out the window here.
See, but the 0 is bigger for
No,
the
it's
United
not.
States. Yeah, it is.
Another little piece, while you guys are checking the scores, let me just say that another big item is that the Middlesex County Courthouse, our traditional weekly dead horse to beat, is as of this weekend, they snuck all the prisoners out.
Where'd they go?
They sent them to Billerica. Up into a field, just let them free.
Free
No,
range,
actually,
free range prisoners.
That's not what happened, actually. They dragged them away in shackles, but they did take them up to Billerica, where they got the
They sent them to
occupancy permit.
Belgium, right?
No, they expanded the prison up there. Now they have air conditioning. It was always 90-plus degrees up at the top of the Sullivan Courthouse. Now they're living in air-conditioned comfort with no freedom. But hey, what the heck? It's air conditioning. So anyway, that happened, and so the next step is the transfer of title for 40 Thorndike Street, which is the Sullivan Courthouse, will at some point, perhaps the next day or two, transfer from Commonwealth of Massachusetts to Leggett McCall, the developer. They've had plenty of meetings, and the planning board, the special permit granting authority, is to adjudicate the matter of the special permit application for that site on Tuesday, July 29th. It'll be a very exciting end of the month. The midsummer meeting of the council on Monday, July 28th, and this sort
Planning board.
of big highlighted planning board meeting the following night. So,
Great.
it's kind of boring for the rest of July, quite honestly, but, it's going to get exciting at the end of the month. So, anyway.
What's up with you?
Wait,
I'm sorry. Oh, I was just working on my interpretive dance. I'm sorry. I just
our
How are
guest.
you doing?
am doing fine. Thank you.
Good.
Now that I don't have to choreograph anymore, I'm just fine.
Well, shall we? Our chosen topic for this evening's entertainment, besides soccer and planning boards and wine deliveries
And state budget.
budgets, is transportation. Specifically safe transportation. And one of the city's chief advocates as a
Here, I could put
citizen
stuff here.
for this is our guest to my left, your right, Ms. Rozann Kraus.
Setting up here.
this is
Do you
for
need to
kids.
show stuff?
Oh, I would like to show this.
Here,
Is that
give it to
okay?
me.
You can do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
we
You can
tend to
take it
do,
on
we have
the
like little
thing, yeah.
projectors and things right over here.
Yeah, I'm the technological one here.
Are you a geek or just
No, I'm just the
skilled?
one
You're
with the
just skilled.
machine in front of me.
The house geek, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
We can actually go to the website. But
Right.
This is good too.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Actually, before we project that, we'll do that one second here. Now, just to give a little bit of the background right here. Your passion is not in the abstract. My recollection is that you got yourself rather worked up into this here when a member of your own family was involved in a motor
You know,
vehicle.
that's one of those like urban myths that is really not true.
Okay.
I mean, seriously not. I mean, I've been like a safety advocate, a bicycle advocate, a get out of your car advocate since automobiles were invented.
Really?
And it was just sort of an interesting...
You don't look a day over 90.
Thank you. It's the color. This is a good color.
It's a beautiful color.
And the interpretive dance. It goes with the Be Alive.
There you go.
That's a word.
Absolutely.
No, and it was just sort of an interesting addition. Like when I got my ticket for bicycling, like I don't go through, last week, it's like, no,
Yeah.
I don't go through. It was like there was my son who was involved in this accident, but people like to, have closure and make their own
Yeah.
things. Like that's when I got all geared up. No, I had been doing it for many, many
Okay.
years. My kids think that I am the first person to wear a bicycle helmet and the first person ever to recycle. They are convinced of that.
I will say that
Yes.
when that happened, you
Yes.
gave what, in my recollection, is watching city council meetings for
Yeah.
30 plus years, one of the most impassioned speeches at the city council, because you meant business. You grabbed the microphone and you walked the room.
Oh, that's
to
right. I
say,
did. I was working the
I
tables.
mean business.
That's right. Yeah.
I never
yeah.
forgot that. So
Yeah, that was pretty.
that was pretty something.
Yeah.
right? So anyway, tell us a little bit about what you've been up to in the
Show this.
transportation safety
Yeah, you can
world.
do that. Well, aside from other things that I do, I had a wonderful walking meeting with George Metzger the other week, and I was saying
President of the
Central Square Business Association and an architect, which is why I was talking to him. But I was saying, George, I sometimes invent words when I write, and I was giving him some of the words like omnicultural and other things. He said, well, you invented a word. I said, I invent many. He goes, no, Trump. And I said, well, actually, Trump exists as a word. I didn't invent it, but what I did is I made it into an acronym that had something to do with what I was thinking about at the time. And actually, I was writing a monthly column for the Cambridge Chronicle called One Less Car, and I did invent that term, by the way, and made no
Really?
money from people ripping it off. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes,
boy.
like 20 years ago. I mean,
All right.
Anyway, so, and talking about how people need to be responsible when they travel. It's one thing to know the laws, but there's a sense of ownership when everybody gets out on the roads and the sidewalks together. And I was thinking, when people travel, they need to be responsible. We need to have a project where there's like mentorship, and I'm writing this, and it came out Trump, which is Travel Responsibility Outreach and Mentoring
You
Project.
want to show this?
Do we want to show this?
Sure.
Well, we can.
Sure.
Okay.
You know,
Alright.
can show that.
it's
It's crooked.
It's crooked.
Yeah,
You're-
right,
you're-
yeah.
It's not on the page straight.
right.
Okay.
So it's not specific to one mode of transportation. This is crossing all the modes: pedestrians, cyclists, drivers.
Well, if you go to our website, it also says
Yeah.
people who are on magic carpets or brooms, taxi cabs, cop cars, buses, segways.
Yeah.
Sick. I put that in there too. But what Trump does, which other advocates for green travel don't really talk about, is the responsibility of traveling.
Right.
You go to bicycle training, or even when people learn to drive cars. And what you do is you learn how to drive your car safely. You learn how to bicycle safely. You need to be visible. You need to know the laws. But what's missing is, sort of the common sense part of sharing the responsibility. And that's really what Trump is about. So what we have when we do some of these things I call Trump tutorials is little handouts that we give to people. We try to use positive reinforcement. The inside message is sort of the same, which is what's on that little thing we were just showing, which is, what's the worst thing about traffic in Cambridge? And I talk to senior groups, and everybody has, I know what it is, and half of them say, it's pedestrians, it's a bicyclist, it's the
depends
car.
on what you use.
Yeah, right. Everybody knows what the worst
Yeah, I
thing
know.
is. Yeah,
I know,
we all
too.
know, and it's somebody else.
Exactly.
So that's sort of what the general message is. But on the other hand, what we have on our little handouts are things for people to think about that they might not learn in their safety classes, like when pedestrians are waiting at a crosswalk and they're waiting for the light to change and they're eager, so they get into the street so they can get a little jump on it. They're actually standing in the bike lane.
Right.
So we just say, see those
Don't do
bicyclists
that.
going right? How about if you just wait on the curb? Oh, I didn't realize that was a bike path. Well, welcome to the world. But anyway, so trying to just let people
And-
understand. And
When the light is green for the pedestrian to cross and they want to cross, then the bicyclists need to know that pedestrians are crossing and they need to stop.
And weaving through
Exactly.
the pedestrians
It's
is not
not
acceptable.
I have words for these different kinds of bicyclists. There's the kamikaze bicyclist who just gets from one place to the next however they can do it. Like we'll go over cars and through people's legs. And
Yeah.
Then there's the racehorse mentality where your job is to get from point A to point B. There are all kinds of obstacles, but you don't, you know that you can maneuver them
Yeah.
and you get from there to there as fast as you can. Then there's and don't take this too personally, the la-di-da-dan.
Right.
bicyclists who
Why
most
are you
a lot
asking
of
me not to take that too personally?
please people who are
don't
listening
know.
who do hubway bicycles and those things like that.
Right.
No, they're the la-di-da bicyclists who rent a bicycle or get their bicycle out of the
Right.
basement, which has been sitting there for 20 years, and get on their bikes and they go la-di-da-di-da-di-da, and they
I
just
know.
they have a
They're-
basket,
they're
maybe they have a
adjusted.
helmet, and it's just like
Yeah.
what a wonderful day
We
it
have to
is.
go.
We have to take a
We're
brief
done.
break. No, we're not
But
done.
can we continue with you in
Me
a few
continue?
minutes?
No, I have
Well.
nothing else to say.
We're cutting you off mid-sentence.
All right. Anyway, we're going to take ourselves a little 3-minute break to check up on the soccer scores.
Absolutely.
Oh yes,
And
look, we're winning.
afterwards, and we'll see you then in a few minutes. Bye.
Cambridge Inside Out.